With every new season release of Rick and Morty, it has become a bit of a tradition for me to try and guess which scenes from the opening credits actually show up in a real episode. With season 8 just around the corner, what better way to celebrate the new season than by predicting which scenes are fake out and which scenes are real. As a bonus, I'll also try and match each opening credit scenes with its most likely episode titles, based on everything we've seen so far. I'll be sure to put down all my sources in the description below. And with that, we've got 5 distinct opening credit scenes to work with, so let's dive in. Starting off with the first scene, we have ourselves an actual thumb war, and I honestly don't think that this one will be part of any real episode. Mainly because this one feels like one of those gag episodes that we never get to see, like the one we see with Butter Morty from the opening credits in season 6. What's interesting to note is the Rick and Space Beth versus Morty and Beth matchup. Why they're fighting in the first place is beyond my guess, but maybe it's not a coincidence that these two are merged, but I can't say for certain. Looking at the episode titles for season 8, episode 6, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, might seem like a match at first, since the trailer showcases both Beth and Space Beth contrasting live, one focused on family and the other one focused on herself. This divide can be supported in the trailer as we see Rick spending more time with Space Beth, acting more as a father figure to her than Beth. But the vibe of the Thumb War clip seems just a little bit too silly to be an actual episode. After looking through all the promotional works from Adult Swim, I can't find any concrete evidence to prove that the Thumbwar Scene is actually real. Off to a rocky start, but I'm going with my guts to say that this one's a fake out episode. This one's surprisingly straightforward. Out of all the opening clips, we actually get to see a lot of footage that indicates that this will be an actual episode. For one, if you check out the season 8 poster, you can actually see a goat version of Beth, and from the trailers we can see, from what I suspect, is Jerry's beginning transformation into a goat as he completely devours a bulb of lettuce. Now, if I had to guess which episode the scene will be in, I'd say probably episode 10, Hot Rick. Reason being is on the official Rick and Morty's Instagram page, we actually get to see title cards showing each episode titles and its relevant background art. The only title card that can somewhat relate to goats is Hot Rick, which showcases a grassy plains as its background art. And from the opening credits, we know that everyone, except for Space Beth, are goats chilling and munching on scraps in their house. Going off of this, in the episode titles, we actually get to see the entire family together in the house. What kickstarts their transformation remains to be seen, but my working theory is something messes with Jerry's mind and he starts believing that he's actually a goat, as we can see Rick projecting what appears to be a memory of Jerry's mind onto the wall. Another thing to note in the goat scene is that we actually get to see 2 tiny Jerrys in a mouse hole, probably hiding from the goats' versions of their family. This small detail could be evidence that this will be either the main plot or a subplot of the episode. With that, I'm fairly certain that this scene is actually not a fake out episode, but which episode this will be featured in remains to be seen. I'm just gonna say that this is a real episode and it's gonna be featured in Hot Rick. This one is by far the easiest to guess. From the first look teaser trailer, we actually got confirmation on which episodes this scene will actually be featured on. In episode 5, Cryer Mort or Rick Fur starts off with Rick wanting to steal a boat full of rare hypercoal from the cryo ships in space by blowing it up. But things go south and they end up triggering all cryo chambers to wake up. Rick pushes his luck and decides to blend in with the aliens along with Morty. And in the trailer, Rick starts to take on a persona of Constelio Rick. Piecing all the information together, we get a clear picture on the plot and how things will play out. I'm willing to bet it doesn't fly, that the heist spirals out of control and Rick keeps pushing it to the point where Morty gets mad and starts swinging at him. With that, I'm confident that Morty punching Rick is an actual clip taken from episode 5. Also, if you're enjoying the video so far, do consider liking, subscribing, or commenting as it helps boost the video into the algorithm. Thanks. We see Mr. Nimbus and Rick getting a swifty down there to what appears to be Mr. Nimbus's house in Atlantis. An interesting detail to note is that Rick has gills. Now, at first I thought this might be from the episode Valky Rick, since that episode features an underwater facility, but that episode seems to be focused on the father-daughter dynamics of Rick and Space Beth. Not quite a place for a Mr. Nimbus cameo. Another episode that features water is actually episode 8, No More Land. In the episode titles, we get to see Rick and Jerry chilling on their lawn, or what is left of the lawn, which is now surrounded by water. The world seems to have flooded, and Mr. Nimbus could be the culprit behind this, which explains why Rick's house remains untouched, as Mr. Nimbus has a soft spot for him. The title also implies a world without Morty. The whereabouts of Summer and both Beth remains to be seen, but judging by this clip, we might get a Rick and Jerry team-up episode, which could be fun. Could this be where Mr. Nimbus makes an appearance? Not 100% sure, but going off of what I have, I'm leaning towards a yes. For our last clip, we've got the family trapped in a Tetris style game. But is it real? There are 2 episodes that could possibly match this. Episode 1, Summer of All Fears, and Episode 7, Ricker Than Fiction. Summer of All Fears is confirmed via Adult Swim's scheduling to feature a Matrix-style simulation. Also, in the trailers, we see Summer being terrified after she snaps out of the simulation, along with the title literally being called Summer of All Fears. And it would seem that this episode would be focused on her personal fears than anything else. Maybe towards the end of the episode we get to see Jerry's fear, which could be something silly like a Tetris version of himself and his family. The other episode, Ricker Than Fiction, seems to be an interdimensional cable episode. The trailer shows Rick and Morty being sucked into a TV show, where the superhero is held on trial after killing a villain. Interestingly, the title cards on Instagram shows something totally different. It showcases a graveyard out of all places, and how this relates to the plot is beyond my guessing. An explanation to this could be that they're cable hopping from dimension to dimension, and they eventually end up in a Tetris world. This could explain the Tetris gag, but I doubt it, since the promo materials only show Rick and Morty entering, not the whole family. So unless there's a surprise twist at the end, I'm going to say that this Tetris scene is another fake out episode. But yeah, let me know which clip you think is fake, or which episode you're most excited about. Let's see how many I get right, and whether or not this will age like fine wine or spoil like milk. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tadpoles in another pond.